times, but it was so impacting to me being in Israel and Palestine with the Compassionate Listening Project. And again, we had a circle of 20 of us that held a circle to listen to people on both sides of the conflict and different organizations and nonprofit leaders, and to really listen from the heart was what we were doing training in, and how to do that. And it was so fascinating to watch it change people in front of our eyes. You know, we had one guy who was a kind of a jerk. He was being a jerk. Anything on the wall, he would be making fun of these little slogans, and you know. And then he said, "Well, Jews were genetically incapable of caring for others." And so a third of our group was Jewish, and he was Palestinian, and he was very smart. He was an author and anthropologist, and I watched the group. You know, of course, very tense, but you have these techniques that you use, and you're listening, and you're not to go into your own agenda. You're just listening, and through that listening and reflecting back the person's heart is what really creates this change. And so what happened with that particular incident is that he had this kind of mantra. Somebody just needs to say they're sorry. You know, and what happened is, because somebody reacted, like in our circle, that wouldn't normally have reacted to his being such a jerk, you know, they said something, and then apologized. And that's what he needed to hear, and he needed to see that the group didn't have their own agenda, that they were really listening to him, even when he didn't deserve it, necessarily. And so in the course of this hour and a half, he changed in front of our eyes. And he became such an advocate for this group, and he took the group on to holy sites that only he knew about. Completely changed. And that wasn't just one person. And then the part that it kind of more reminds me of this group was a woman that ran a nonprofit called Zokrat, Remembering, and she was Israeli, and she led a group of Israeli people to put up signs that that would commemorate Palestinian villages that had been destroyed, so that they would no longer be invisible. They were really there. Now you can imagine how hated she was when she would do this work. Other Israelis felt like she was a traitor, etc. So for our group to come and listen to her and reflect back her work and what she was doing, and how we heard her heart, we heard the power of what she wanted to do and why. Again, I felt like when we finished that she could now do this work for 5 years more, whereas maybe she couldn't really do it much longer anymore. She was really getting burned out. So I could see the power of a group listening from the heart to motivate and inspire, and I really felt like after that example that having a group of people listen to people working on nonprofits would be just really powerful, because I think they hear themselves a lot, but they don't hear other people hearing them. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, so when I came to this group some time ago, I mean for a workshop, I guess, and I heard these wonderful tools, and then I came to these circles, and I heard people really, even though everybody's diverse, I think that we all very clearly, I've experienced this shared, and we've talked about it, this sharing, you know, of your heart, you know, this listening from the heart. And I do feel that that is essential, and I feel that whether we come into a circle or not, we do share the same heart, whether we know it or not, but here we know it. So this is why I love coming here, is that I feel like there's a diversity, but people have the same desire to connect and recognize that connection. So I've always appreciated that. I've always learned something. I appreciate the wisdom. I like the wisdom. I learn from the wisdom. I learn from practices. But I think more than anything, I like the fact that people want to come together and share a little piece of their heart. So, I don't know, got way off on that, didn't I? That was kind of the thing that brought me here. And so then I have this desire to use our house in Kayenta for retreats. And what exactly that looks like, I don't know, but really more than I need to know what that looks like and who is coming and what's happening with that. I just, I think for me this group, it's important not to solve all those things, but to be with people that care about the same kinds of things. And I don't know if everybody, you know, if that's really fair to ask. Maybe not everybody does care about some of those concepts that are really important to me. But I think basically people do. And so for me, I think as I shared this Kayenta compassion, to be honest, my goal wasn't to figure out how to do it and figure out the details, but really I'm very passionate about the idea of what I call Ubuntu, our connection to one another and what that means. And I like to talk about that, and I like to be with people that like to talk about that. And so to have that opportunity to bring that here, and I think that was just my goal and my desire. And so I appreciate people sharing what they've shared, and I've taken away from that one thing that's really important, and that is that I want to have fun. And let that be whatever it will be.